Welcome to Machine Learning, Discriminant Analysis, Part 4. We're going to look at the logistic regression approach in this video. It'll be a little bit longer than the last few because this is a little more involved. All right, suppose we have two groups, A and B. Now, there's going to be two groups for logistic regression right now, okay? And random variable X. Last time we looked at how to do this, and it was basically we were solving two densities for each other and trying to find the point at which they cross. Now, we could do that numerically in Python. It was pretty easy. But logistic regression just sounds like this, doesn't it? It says, I'm going to use a X to predict whether I'm in group 1 or group 2, whether I'm a 0 or I'm a 1. So this really sounds like something that we would be up for. All right, so here's discriminant analysis, picture we've seen before. Here's blue dots are group A, red dots are group B. And we want to find a point X star that gives us a way to discriminate between either outcome, whether it's A or B. Okay. In logistic regression, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to code Y equals 1 to be group A and Y equals 0 if group B. Could have coded it either way. Doesn't really matter because it's going to work out symmetrically. So you can play with that on your own. Just the coefficients change and the logistic regression by a minus sign. All right, so we can fit a logistic regression to this. We've already done it. If you haven't done this before, there are previous videos that you can go back and look at, and it will show you exactly how to do that. And if you're too lazy to do that, I've got the code at the end of this, so you can just follow along with it, and you'll see how to still do this without having to worry about the details. But if you want to know more about logistic regression, I would suggest you go watch the videos. All right, so if P of X is a half, then it's equally likely to be in group A or group B, right? You can't really tell which ones it is because it's a 50-50 chance if you picked either one. So that's not a bad idea. Why don't we use this idea and trace it backwards? Okay, so if we can find the value of X that causes this to occur, we've solved our problem. And we can do this with a bit of math. So don't get really bogged down in the details too much. What I'm trying to show you is that mathematics is really useful for doing this. Since this is more of a machine learning course, if we're more about doing than we are about deriving. This is the way I look at this, is it's not that hard. A half is equal to the probability of X. Well, this is the logistic function here that we're using. Just do your happy algebra and you will find your way down to this down here. So X equals negative A over B. Pretty easy, I think, to get to. It's basically like where a line crosses the x-axis. And that's exactly the idea it is. So here this works out nicely, so we can do this. So we fit the logistic regression to find A and B, and then just calculate this number, and we've got it. But it does require a lot of work that I'm not mentioning, right? We got to fit the logistic regression, which is not trivial. So, and then once we have this point X, well, if X is less than, the new X we see is less than negative A over B, then it's in group A. And if X is greater than negative A over B, then it's in group B. We just need A and B. That's it. And it will tell us which we have. So we're going to give this a go in a minute. I'm going to show you that this doesn't always work. And that's why a lot of people hesitate to use logistic regression for this, but it's a good way to use it if you're sure that you've got a good situation. I'm going to show you two situations where it doesn't work. Okay, so here you can't even see the other set of data, but look at it. Can you really discern which one is which? Like, is there an X that says, hey, if I'm less than this, I'm clearly in group A, or clearly in group B? Nah, you really can't see it because it looks like the blue is surrounded by the red. So, and that's what you saw in the previous picture because you couldn't see the blue. And that's why I didn't flip them over, because I wanted you to see that you just couldn't see them at all. Okay? So in this case, if you were to run a logistic regression, this is the curve you would get. Notice the curve is never above 0.5, so you can't invert it. And if you did invert it, it would give you a negative number, which in this case probably wouldn't make sense, or to give you a number that is basically is not useful in any way, shape, or form. All right, the next problem is what's called separation. You can see a clear separation between the two groups. Okay, so this line could work to separate them. This line could work. In fact, there's an infinite number of lines that could work, which makes any algorithm that's looking for a unique solution is going to fail. Also, your logistic regression will fail in this. It'll start throwing errors at you. It'll say, oh, it did not converge, blah, blah, blah. You probably have this problem, which is called separation. And if you do, you really don't need logistic regression, or you really don't need discriminant analysis, in the sense that you could just look at it and say, well, 5 works for me, and you'd be right 100% of the time. So just keep that in mind. The blue and the red need to overlap a little bit. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It's called you're in a situation of separation. All right, so go get the amps.csv data set, and we're going to jump over to Python and give it a go and actually try to do this and see what our answer is. And then I'll leave it to you to use the other method to see whether or not it works, get the same value using the two different methods. So let's jump over to Python. All right, so we're here in Python now. Hopefully you've downloaded the data set, amps. And the other, I think I had it capitalized at capital A, but it's okay. You've got the data set either off GitHub or Canvas, and you've set your directory to wherever this data is. Make sure you have that correct, that it's in the right place. Okay? I'm importing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm actually not using that much. I'm just really using pandas and sklearn for logistic regression, but I'm leaving them here just in case you wanted to do more with it. So just run it. Let's import the data, and I'll explain the data here in a second. Boom, got the data. So I'm going to look it up here, and I'll explain it. So this is in a welding example. So half the stuff you have is welded or soldered. Your phone has solders in it. Your car has a whole bunch of welds in it. Lots of things have these things called welds, where you're basically getting the metals to melt together. Okay? And they use, one way to do it is to use fire. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is through electricity. And electricity is amps, is one way to measure how much current is going through. And what we would do is if you're a manufacturer, you want to know, is this weld going to break? Okay, so what they did is they have a test that they do that pushes a specific amount of pressure on it. If it passes the specific amount of pressure, it's fine, and the weld did not fail. But if they put that pressure on it and it breaks, then it failed. The weld broke. So this is what the data is about. So basically, we want to know, well, at what amps are we more likely to fail than not fail? Okay, so that's the key here. And you can look this up, make a picture of it and whatnot, and see that these don't look as nice as the other ones you saw. But that's the general setup. So we're looking for the amps that will discriminate between when we fail and when we don't. All right, now that we have this, we need to encode, and that's the first time I've used this word. But as you go through machine learning, people are always talking about encoders and decoders. And there actually is one that's already built into Python, which we'll look at later. But I thought there's only 2 of them, so let's try it. So I'm going to make a new variable here called fail01, okay, because it's 0 or 1, because this fail is y or n. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the data that I've just wrote in, and in the locations where data 0, the original data, column fail, is equal to n, I'm going to put a new column, fail 0n, equal to 0. So wherever the column fail in the original data set is N, I'm going to put a 0. And wherever it's same setup here, wherever it's yes, it did fail, I'm going to put a 1. Okay, and that's going to give me new columns in my data set. So I'm actually adding on to my data set. So let's run this, look at it, make sure we get it, we understand it. So notice whenever there's an N, it's a 0. Whenever there's a Y, there's a 1. Okay, and you could code this either way, whatever one makes more sense to you. Okay, so this is pretty easy now. Let's just fit the logistic regression. Put our, I'm using it totally from the pandas perspective. Notice I have the double brackets here in the X place where it would put in your predictors, and this is where you put in your response. We can look at what A is. I called it A0 in this case. And we can type it over here if we want to see the value, or we can actually look up here. It's 2.69. Not that that means anything. All right, so then we can look at the regression coefficient, and you'll see that it's negative 0.4116, blah, 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 blah. Don't really care. Okay, what we care about is this. We care about this here. So it's going to give us a value here, and you can either read it off up here or you can type it in down here, and you can see what value of amps you're more likely to fail than less likely to fail. So I have to think about this. This is the value where I'm more likely to fail. Okay, so if my amps are, well, hold on, I got to pay attention because that's negative. My amps are greater than that, then because of the negative, I'm less likely to fail. If they're lower, so low amps causes it to fail, high amps causes it to not fail because of that negative. That's how you can read it. If it confuses you, flip it over so that you can say, when does it fail? Because failing here is bad. Not failing is good. So you can flip the ones and zeros over. You'll still get the same answer, but just keep in mind that you have to really think about which way it goes, which is A and which is B. It's not always looking the way you think it will look. And I would highly suggest you make a picture of this. I've shown you how to make pictures before, and if I did it here, your video would get really, really long, and we're already up to 12 minutes. So let's go back over to our slides and see what else we're going to do. Okay, so next time, what if we have more than one X variable? Okay, so right now it's easy. I tried to do everything in one variable initially so you can see the idea. It's easy to understand, hopefully, and it doesn't get too mathematically complex. When you get into higher dimensions, it becomes very difficult to visualize what exactly is going on. So here we got one variable. Now we're going to say, what if we have more than one variable? And what if we have more than two categories? Okay, we have more than two categories. How do we handle it when we have multiple categories for our Y and multiple X variables for our predictors? So that's what we're going to start on in the next couple videos, and I will see you there.